Welcome back to the Boys and Bolos podcast. We're down here in the barbershop studio. Jarrett, welcome back. It is Thursday night. It's a weird week. We have to do this pod way later in the week, even though games for week 34, they may have already started. I don't even know. The schedule is so foobarred. I mean, there was a game today.
There was a game today.
But I think it was like a match week 25 game.
It was match week 0.
Game. It was a makeup game.
It was from last season.
Either way, Burnley smacked down Southampton in a weird midweek. See, I have this thing about midweek games. I got to go back and look at all like the midweek games and see if the results are what they should be. You know what I mean? Like if we predicted a midweek game, like how, like on paper, does it really hold up? Because midweek games just seem to mess things up.
This may influence like a betting strategy where you always go for the money line on the weekends, but then in the midweek you go for the underdog, whatever that is per the line.
I agree.
And you just say, just let it ride because weird shit happens.
Chelsea played a makeup game against Arsenal, and because there's a weekend game, Arsenal doesn't have a B team, right? Arsenal doesn't have another team to play, so they just played they have so many injuries and whatever. They played their normal team, which is a pretty above average team, you know, challenging for top 4. And Chelsea played a B team. I would say a solid, like Loftus-Cheek, Sarr, Christensen, you know, no Thiago Silva, no Havertz, no Rudiger. I mean, that's like probably the biggest difference on defense. And put out Lukaku, who's a lug. And they lost 4-2. I mean, they basically gifted Arsenal goals. It was painful to watch.
Well, that's what Tuchel said in the presser. He said, we scored 5 goals to their 1 goal, but they beat us 4-2. Because 2 of the goals were actual gifts and like defensive quagmires. I still watch it. I'm like, Jesus, Sarr, what were you doing? And then the final goal, honestly, like my hat's off to Saka because that was incredible the way he pulled Azpilicueta down and then convinced the ref that should have happened and VAR let it happen. Azpilicueta doesn't pull players down in the box. He's probably one of the cleanest defenders the Premier League has ever seen as far as overall conduct and like not going in for dirty tackles, not doing any like dark arts shit. So I was actually very surprised that VAR didn't overturn that. So the nail in the coffin in the 92nd minute when they put in the penalty, it was just like, what world am I living in? Because we basically gave him the game. I think a reasonable outcome for that game would have been a tie. I do not think Arsenal deserved it. However, they did take their chances, and they made Nketiah look like a Ballon d'Or candidate, a guy who literally hasn't scored in an entire calendar year. Yep. So thank you, Chelsea.
And now they're tied with Spurs on 57 points for, you know, essentially only, you know, difference is goal differential for 4th. Spurs and Arsenal are only 7 points away from Chelsea now, and I think
5 points, but we have a game in hand.
Yeah. It's 5 points?
5 points. So it could be 8 if you assume we win our game. But, I mean, it's close. The bottom line is it's close. And right behind is United. But you guys have a game in hand. Well, Tottenham and Arsenal have a game in hand over them. But they're 3 points behind. But since Arsenal and Man United play this weekend, if they tie, this is a great opportunity for you guys to obviously pick up points against Brentford. And we'll get into the week that's coming up. But it's just way too close.
Yeah.
It's a shit show.
It's kind of like everybody's kind of stumbling towards the end of the season. It seems like all 3 of those teams have been wildly inconsistent. Spurs have been probably the most consistent over the last 5-6 games in terms of wins and losses. I think Arsenal was on a little bit of a losing streak, and United, even when they win, look terrible. They beat Norwich in week 33, barely because Ronaldo vibes and he scored a hat trick. I mean, he's the only reason they're vying for even a place in Europe. Like, let's be real here.
I think Rio Ferdinand said it. He's like, look, everyone's complaining about Ronaldo coming back to United. But he's like, if he weren't there, we'd be fighting for 10th. And I don't think it's that crazy because his vibes beat Spurs. His vibes
just beat Norwich.
It's actually, we should probably look at it and sit down and compile the amount of points where he had a game winner. You're probably looking at roughly 12 to 15 points.
Exactly.
And if you take those points away from United, let's just do the math. You take 15 points away from United, they're on 39 points. They are in 11th or 12th.
Yeah.
They're with Brentford and Newcastle.
Yeah. They're not good. I mean, Maguire is a nightmare. Maguire, there was one thing that we posted on Bolo is about United's position. I mean, Maguire's positioning in one of the goals when they got beat by Liverpool.
It's so bad.
Like that Liverpool game, if you want to watch a team that's on two different planes of existence in terms of like where they're at, just watch highlights from that game, because Thiago Alcantara was literally laughing with Klopp after the game because it was like a clinic. He was just doing whatever he wanted. It was ridiculous. They were so bad. And Maguire, the fact that Maguire is the starting center back for the English national team is a absolute travesty. If Gary Southgate doesn't look at this, at what Maguire's been doing all season and rethink what his center back should be for the World Cup, he is lost. He's lost. He should be gone.
It is telling. Well, before we get to the World Cup, that game was ridiculous. If you watch the entirety of that Liverpool United game, you just saw unbelievable things. Liverpool pressed, they caused problems, they asked questions of everyone in the field. And I don't understand Ralph Rangnick because of this quote right here. He says, "It takes a young kid to come on to show them how to sprint and put a challenge in. I'm actually proud of him." Oh, sorry, that wasn't Rangnick. That was Gary Neville on Hannibal's substitution. A guy I've never seen before play comes on, runs around, and there's film of this. He gets he probably should get a red card just from constant infringement in a 5-minute period, and he hit some heavy tackles. But that's the sign of United. They have to bring on some academy kid who just comes on, and he looks like the guy who's playing in your rec league who never even played in high school, who's just going to take someone's ACL. It is a shit show.
It's really bad.
United used to bring on ballers.
Yep.
And it's bad. And it's all, not all, but a lot of it is when Ronaldo doesn't play, this team is an actual joke. I think he'll play against Arsenal on the weekend, but obviously he had a very, very legitimate reason for not playing. One of his sons, a twin, passed away. And it was nice to see Liverpool fans in minute 7, they sang "You'll Never Walk Alone." It was nice to see some unity there, which, it's bigger than a game. I guess you can say football is bigger than a game. But getting back to the pitch, it was an absolute disaster. And it's super dark when you start Jesse Lingard. Or no, do they start Paul Pogba and then have to bring on Lingard? Or is it the other way around? I can look at the stats. I should know this. I'm looking.
I don't think Pogba started, did he?
He did. I'm saying there was an absolute shit show in the game because that was I missed the first 20 minutes of the game, and I was texting with Corey Maguire, who's a Liverpool fan, and he was like, "Oh my God, this is a joke." And the thing I see, so Jesse Lingard came on for Paul Pogba because Paul Pogba had to go out. Once they take Paul Pogba out of that game, it's bad. It's bad. And then in the 45th minute at halftime, they sub Jadon Sancho on for Phil Jones. Phil freaking Jones, my guy. It is dark times, dude. Dark times at United. I don't think that they get in Champions League this year, which means they're going to lose Ronaldo, which is probably long-term better for them. But in the short term, what's that dressing room? You're losing a GOAT because it's such in disarray. I mean, it's just a shit show. It's honestly a shit show. They look so uninspired.
I don't know if it was Rangnick or somebody at United said that they need 6 to 10 signings.
It was Rangnick. It was Rangnick after when they asked him about it. And I think 10 Hag.
Ten Hag,
thank you. I think he signed officially today.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
Which is cool. Good for him.
He's a real coach.
He's a real coach.
Rangnick isn't a coach.
What is Rangnick?
Rangnick is a managing, he's like the Paratici or whatever his name is. He's like a sporting director. That's kind of his spiel. He manages he gets players in and stuff. I don't think he's a real coach.
He manages the managers.
Kinda yeah.
He's the assistant to the regional manager.
I think he might stay at United as kind of a guy who finds players and negotiates that. And I don't know. They got rid of 2 of their scouts as well.
2 of their scouts. I don't know if they got rid of them. I think they walked.
Or they walked.
I think they walked. Probably because Ten Hag is also going to come in and be I'm bringing this player, these 2 young players from Ajax. I'm wiping out this entire thing. United, obviously. I mean,
I heard that Neville was saying that they need major investment in the club, not just from a rebuild perspective, but they need upgrades to training grounds. They need upgrades to their stadium. They're like a lot of their stuff's like falling behind, because they haven't had any real investment in the club, because their owners right now are taking huge profits out of the club. It's a shit show. That club is 5, 6, 7 years away from being competitive again. Like on the level of Liverpool and City, and that's like being generous. Like I think that they need new owners. Honestly, they need new owners. They need new leadership, top to bottom. But I don't think any United fan would disagree. Like every United fan that you watched at that stadium after the game looked just like shell shocked. Like, this is what the club has become.
If you look at the lineup, Wan-Bissaka, nightmare. I guess I'll start with the nightmare. Paul Pogba goes out injured, so Jesse Lingard comes in, a guy they have not shown any respect since he lit up for West Ham almost a year ago. Matic, he won us titles, he won us FA Cups, he won us Europa Leagues in Chelsea. That was literally, when he won the Europa League with Chelsea, 2013, I believe he was on that team. That was a decade ago. All right, he's a ghost. Dalot, meh. Maguire, unbelievably bad. Lindelof, an actual just like Swedish joke. Phil Jones is a meme. He's an actual internet soccer meme. He's like the Michael crying Jordan face of soccer. Fernandez, if he doesn't get penalties from VAR, who's the guy? Look at his minutes per goal when VAR's not giving him goals and you take out penalties. I'll wait. Rashford, I do not know what has happened to that man, but since he saved all the lunches for half of England during the pandemic, he's fallen off. The only good ones I'm going to give on this, all those other guys I've mentioned right now get under threes in that game. Obviously, it's rough on Paul Pogba and Phil Jones because they get subbed out. But De Gea, the guy is probably still a pretty good shot stopper. And then Elanga is actually very impressive to me, and I hope that they hold on to him and they incorporate him in future plans moving forward because he's fire. I actually think he's a great, great player. So, or maybe not a great, great player, but he has great potential. And that's something that I hope that Ten Hag can work with.
Yeah, there's not one player on this team that gets into the starting 11 at Liverpool. And how they usually do a combined starting 11 for a game. They didn't bother doing one for this game because none of them get into the starting 11. And I would argue that a lot of them don't even get into the starting 11 on most Premier League teams. I don't see any of these guys getting in the starting 11 besides maybe Elanga, maybe. And he's so new and fresh that, at Spurs, none of these players would get in at Spurs. None of these players would get in any of the top 6 teams right now. Literally Ronaldo vibes. And we were saying that before Ronaldo even played a game.
You've been saying that since day 0 this season. It's just going to be Ronaldo vibes. But it became almost, what you wish for will come true in week 3 or 4 when he just lit it up. And I just remember in the fantasy, he just lit it up. He had 2 goals and an assist in one game and then had another goal and an assist. And there was a week where there were 2 games. United have serious issues. And like you said, I think it's a long road ahead for them. But there will be a day, mark my words, when United is back on top and they're competitive and they're going for the league and they're in Champions League and they're just on another level. But it will take some time. So there's that.
Just looking at their bench and you put out Maguire, Jones, and Lindelof, right? Because you're playing a back 3. I honestly think that Tellez, Baye is probably two better options than Jones and Lindelof. But that's just my opinion. Maybe in the back 3 they're not. I don't know. But this lineup is so interesting and questionable against Liverpool. I don't know. I would start Sancho. I would start Tellez. I would start McTominay. It's a midweek game. I don't know. Maybe
it's a midweek game.
It.
It left me speechless. The Chelsea Arsenal game, speechless. The Burnley Southampton result today, no idea. How does Leicester tie Everton? I think they're much better. Everton grind a goal out. Everton, we said Everton, I guess I should put it up. I made the graphic that they have a 65% chance of going down. And since they've taken 4 points out of 6, which I didn't see. They beat United. And then they just, took some points from Burnley. So.
Yeah, but I mean.
Sorry, not Burnley. Leicester.
Right. But here's the thing. Burnley just won today. I mean, they never didn't have a game in hand, but they're only a point ahead of Burnley. I mean, with the way that Burnley played today, they show more fight to me than Everton.
Now, do you still hold that if Burnley stay up, they should rehire Sean Dykes?
That was a good call of mine, wasn't it?
It was one of the better calls ever.
It's one of the funnier things that has been swirling around my head, right? So, say Burnley go on a little run, right? They win. The last 6 games, they...
A little run. There's only 6 games left, Jeff.
A little run. I'm saying, out of the possible 18 points, they take...
They take 6.
They take 10. Say they take 10 points.
What? That's insane. If Burnley cracks 35 points, meaning 7 points, I will be shocked.
So if Burnley go, I didn't realize Leeds was so far down, but if they go ahead of Leeds, or if they go 16th or 17th, I don't see. The thing is I think Burnley have an easier schedule coming up than Everton.
Oh, Everton's schedule, as we reviewed, is just.
I mean, this is Burnley.
Just zombies.
Burnley's got
tough.
Wolves, who have been not that great. Watford, who are obviously terrible. Aston Villa, who have been mediocre. Tottenham, who could lose to Burnley because they're Tottenham. I'm just saying. Tottenham could throw a stinker.
Dude, anything's possible. It's the Premier League. Except Liverpool and City. I don't think they're going to lose games.
And then they're playing Villa again. So they got 2 against Villa. So they'll probably win in one of those and lose one of those. One's home and one's away. And then they got Newcastle last game. So it's not like Burnley have, they're not playing juggernauts the last 6 games here. I mean, but Everton are. They're playing some juggernauts.
I just pictured the movie where the Juggernaut runs through the wall and the X-Men is like, I'm the Juggernaut.
I'm the Juggernaut. It's kind of fitting because he's British.
And he was a football player.
Yeah.
Anyways. I mean.
I'm just saying Everton.
Do you want Everton to be relegated?
Yes.
You want to share that?
I think it would be. I'm not saying I know Everton's a historic, quote unquote, historic club. And they probably, I would say it's 50-50 between Everton and Burnley at this point. 50-50.
Jeff, you're not really cracking any new eggs to make this omelet. That's fairly obvious.
But the question was whether I wanted to see Everton go down. I think it would be a funny novelty.
A novelty?
Yes, because I think
a snow globe at Christmas is a novelty. Everton going down is like burning Buckingham Palace for toffees, dude.
For shits and gigs?
For shits and gigs, dude.
Okay, so they spend they're going to go down to the championship, smack around the teams down the championship, and come back up. I mean, that's really what's going to happen.
If Richarlison goes to the championship with all of his dark arts, he may never come up.
He must love it down there.
He'll love it down there.
He might go play for QPR.
Yeah, he'll be on Sheffield Wednesday by mid-season, just diving everywhere. What a bum. All right, let's look at the week coming up. There's going to be fire games. I mean, we're getting towards the end of the season. All the points matter. There is a relegation battle. I think Leeds is actually still in that, looking at the numbers. I think Aston Villa is probably safe. They say normally if you crack 35, you're good. 40 is definitely safety. But Leeds is only on 33, so they'll probably crack that in the last 6 games. But definitely Everton, Burnley, Watford. Honestly, Norwich could still do some crazy escape, but I
look at goal differential, right? And the teams with really bad goal differential, obviously Norwich, they're getting relegated. Watford, they're getting relegated. But
Leeds
then you go,
is
Leeds
bad.
is bad, dude. Leeds is bad. They give up goals.
It's real bad. Sheesh. All right, let's look at the games coming up.
Aston Villa just isn't that bad. It's only -4.
No, it's not bad. Matchday 34 coming up. The first game, and I will get up for this game, it's going to be a good one because I don't think either of these teams can really defend that well, is going to be Arsenal versus United. This game has huge implications. I would love a tie.
Me too.
It would help Chelsea. It would help Spurs. This is going to be at the Emirates. I just don't see a way that United beat them, and I feel like Arsenal win this game.
I agree.
Smith Rowe and Odegaard are phenomenal. Odegaard for me is one of the better players of the season. I mean, he's like Odegaard vibes for Arsenal. He's just a fun watch. So I got Arsenal winning this.
Odegaard vibes for Arsenal. Okay.
But if Ronaldo's back, who knows? That dude, he'll save literally Old Trafford from burning. So I don't know. Honestly, I'm hoping for a tie, but I think Arsenal wins.
I think it's like a 2-2 tie.
Yeah. Next game, Norwich City versus Newcastle. Now, Newcastle has gone from potential relegation all the way up to the mid-table, which is, that's what happens when you spend money, people in the Premier League. Do Norwich have a chance against them?
No.
They're at Carrow Road.
Norwich is terrible and a championship team. And Guimarães, is that how you say his last name?
Sure, it's Brazilian. It's Portuguese.
He's come to life a little bit. I mean, he's been actually starting.
He's come to life.
That's I mean, he wasn't starting when he came to Newcastle, and now he's just getting subbed. He was just getting subbed on, and now he's starting and playing well and scoring game winners. And I think they'll take care of Norwich 2-0.
Fair. Next game, Leicester versus Aston Villa. I would love for Leicester to win this game, but they're kind of right next to each other, and I just want to see Leicester, maximize their full potential. A little Brendan Rodgers special.
No chance in hell.
They're at home. You think Aston Villa's going to beat them?
Yes.
Jesus, guy. I got Leicester 2-0.
I mean, Leicester tying. I think Leicester's still playing in Europa Conference League or some crazy bullshit, and I think that that Everton game was a real punch in the gut for them.
Yeah, it was a punch in the ankle. It hurt.
Yeah.
Next game coming up is Man City Watford. Let's just go to the next game. That's not a game to talk about. Right? Watford winning 3-0.
God, no. City should just play all their academy kids. Just go out there and
just play a bunch of.
Except they're still fighting for the title, so they have to go out and smash and score as many goals as they can.
They are. The next game is whatever. City will win that game. The next game is Brentford Tottenham. Brentford, who I think kind of did the double over Chelsea, even though we split points this year. This is going to be at Brentford Stadium. Is this a banana peel for Tottenham?
No, Brentford's been on a good run of form. They've kind of turned their season around with Eriksen joining. And I see this to be a much harder game for Spurs than... I don't think anybody thinks that, especially with Eriksen playing well and making that team perform better from a attacking perspective, that any Spurs fan thinks that's going to be an easy game, especially at Brentford Stadium.
It's not going to be an easy game. That's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be a very tough game.
It needs to be a tough game. I think Spurs can grind it out, and I think Spurs are much better defensively now. I mean, they're losing games 1-0, not 3-0 anymore. I think
the Conte effect.
I think a 2-2 draw is probably most likely. I'm hoping for a 3-2 win.
I'm just hoping that Spurs don't do worse than either Arsenal or Manchester United.
Right.
That's
just
my hope. Let's just keep it all poopy around that. The next game, Burnley Wolves. I think you said Burnley's going to win this game.
Yeah, I want Burnley. I think Burnley's going to win.
It is at Turf Moor. Come on down. I'm going to go with Wolves just because I think Wolves are still pretty nice. But Burnley really need the points, so I don't know. Maybe because of the ghost of Sean Dyche, maybe they'll pull it off. I got Wolves here 1-0.
Okay. Yeah.
Because Burnley stacked bodies.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying. But I think they're actually going to win 2-1.
Next game, Chelsea West Ham. Depends what kind of Chelsea shows up. If we play our B team, if Lukaku even touches the field in warm up, I don't know. We might lose. But we should be able to beat this West Ham team. This West Ham team is currently trending down. This is what happens in the last 10 games every season for them, apparently. They start to trend down and drop points. We're at home. We really need a bounce back. And last time when we lost in the Champions League, we got bounced out. We played Southampton the next game, I believe, and we beat them 6-0. I think the same thing will happen. Having lost to Arsenal, which hurt a lot, I believe we will come back. Just an energy thing. So I'm going to go Chelsea 2-0.
Agree. I really hope that you guys lose, because I hope that it becomes a much tighter fight for the third place spot. I mean, that's just my Spurs fan in me, but I don't think that's actually going to happen. I think you guys will win. I think the normal lineup, you'll play the normal lineup, no Lukaku. I expect Pulisic to play. I expect, Thiago Silva to play, Rudiger to play. I mean, with all those guys, I just don't see you guys getting scored on. It might be 1-0, but it's
in theory no. But yeah, hopefully we'll take all points from this game. The next game is Brighton Hove versus Southampton. This is going to be at the Amex. I don't know. Southampton just lost to Burnley. We blew them out of the water. They have been hemorrhaging points as of late. If the league were to go on 5 more weeks, if it went to week 43, I think that they would actually probably start to flirt with some relegation. They wouldn't actually be relegated, but I think they're just trending not well. But I don't know. They did beat Arsenal. That's cool.
Brighton beat Spurs. I think that they can hold together defensively against the Southampton
and they beat Arsenal.
Team. Yeah, against the Southampton team that's not that great. I mean, you saw it today against Burnley. They just couldn't score, right? And they besides the worldie from a worldie from James Ward-Prowse. I mean, they have trouble finding the back of the net. So
I got Brighton Hove then.
I think Brighton could win this game. They got just a more solid team, I think, all around.
I agree.
They got Lamptey and they got who's the other guy?
They got Lallana and he's still balling.
They got the guy who scored the game winner at Spurs. I forget. Trossard.
Trossard. Yeah.
Yep.
Graham Potter's got him play. I mean, it's a nice team. You don't want to have to play.
They're annoying to play.
I don't like playing them.
They actually held City to a draw for a while when they got beat this
They
midweek.
did. They looked much better.
And then the floodgates kind of opened a little bit.
Yeah, City eventually just leaned on them long enough.
Yep.
The next game is going to be the mini bet game of the week because I don't think it's going to go well for Everton. Liverpool is in a special moment. Liverpool is on for the treble, right?
Quadruple.
Excuse me, the quadruple. They've already won the Papa John, Carling Cup, Carabao statue. They're in the Champions League semifinals. They're in the FA Cup final, and if City stumble, they will pass them. So I don't see a way that Everton get any points out of this game, nor any fun. It's also at Anfield. However, if you want to make a $5 bet and get some return, you put it on Everton because screw it, it's $5. And inflation is going to eat that in the next 6 months anyways.
I'll put 10 on it if somebody wants to take my money.
Oh, if someone's listening to this, Liverpool fans, I know you're out there. Cam, Corey, Ellen, I will bet you.
And you can make that bet in some sportsbook.io, some website that I can't get access to.
Bet365.
Bet365, bet.io, whatever you want to call it. I'll give you $10. I'll Venmo you the $10. You put it on Everton.
Yeah, exactly. I'll do that too just because why not? Because it's probably like 3,000 to 1, so whatever.
Be a nice little payday for me.
You might retire for a week.
Lord knows I need it.
You need a payday?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Who doesn't need a payday?
Because you got 9 kids?
Yeah, I got 9 kids.
Elon Musk doesn't need a payday.
Elon's going to buy Twitter.
Elon is Twitter.
Elon will be Twitter.
He is Twitter. Next game, Crystal Palace Leeds. This is going to be the last game of the week. Leeds is really kind of dropping the ball. I don't see a way that Crystal Palace loses this. It's also at Selhurst Park, and they play tough at Selhurst. So I think Crystal Palace win this, but I'm also open to them not. I mean, they're only separated by 4 points. Crystal Palace is still, they're not going to be relegated, but they're trending down. So where are you on this? I'm seeing a 1-1 tie.
Yeah, I'm not overly enthusiastic about either team. Leeds get scored on a lot. They're just a sieve. They just cannot, defend very well. I'd love to see Bamford back. I'd love to see the old Leeds come back, but I just don't think we're going to see that again because Bielsa's gone. But you got Jesse Marsh. You got to root for him. I'm rooting for Leeds, but I'm because nobody likes Crystal Palace, especially us other London teams. We don't.
Us London folk?
Unless us London team supporters that aren't Crystal Palace. It's a derby for us. We don't. They're annoying to play against.
I think Crystal Palace will win this. They're at Selhurst. That's AFC Richmond home.
Yeah, I would on paper, I think that Crystal Palace will win, but my heart wants Leeds to win, so I'm going to be rooting for Leeds watching that game.
I am going to break your heart again and tell you that Ozatik is leading fantasy by 1 point.
Yeah.
It's so brutal. He's just, Oz, if you're listening to this, he's 1 point over Mitch. He's 6 points over Nick Bailey Will Hayden really had a shitty week, and I think he said he forgot to move his captaincy around. But Oz is in the lead, ladies and gentlemen, and we only have 6 weeks left. I don't. We have 4 weeks left, but there's still 6 games essentially to be played for most teams. I don't see a way that he drops this. I'm down to 10th. You're in 8th. Oz is in 1st. Mitch is in 2nd. Nick Bailey in 3rd. Will Hayden in 4th. Arthur, you're in 5th. You still maybe could catch up to Oz if you get some triple captain luck. Mac Bruce just fell off. Sorry, Mac. He just fell off. And then El Pibe de Oro, Diego, 7th. It's pretty rough. I'm pretty not happy that we just have a guy in our fantasy that just runs show, just beats the shit out of us. Like, I'm looking at Oz's week. He's got Saka, De Bruyne, Kulusevski, Son, Madison. I mean, he really spreads his points around. It's very annoying. Anyway, that's all I have for fantasy. We missed 420, but happy 420 to everyone out there who enjoys herbal remedies.
Yeah, we might record a 420 episode.
We might record it and
later in the year.
Have a lot to do this summer. When I say a lot to do, there's nothing to do because there's no tournaments, there's no games, there's no nothing. It's just heat. So
it's just me sweating.
We'll just have some. Yeah, we're gonna have some weird episodes in the summer. If you want to come down in the basement with the bolos and get weird, that's on you.
We don't even have to talk about soccer.
No. We're gonna get into philosophy, metaphysics, the metaverse.
Do you want to hear this? Do you want to tell the listeners the story? The dream
which one?
The dream I had about.
Oh my God! Yes, we'll finish this episode with your dream.
All right, so this is the dream I had a couple nights ago. A very vivid dream. I don't remember a lot of my dreams, as most people don't. But the dream is that Jarrett was in my dream. That might be weird for some people, but he was in my dream, and he told me a very heartfelt admission that he was a huge City fan. And I was like deeply offended in my dream. I just remember being in this dream being so angry that he was a City fan. So angry. And so angry that, and he wouldn't give it up. He just was like, I'm a City fan, man. Like, I'm a City fan for life, baby.
He wouldn't give it up. I like how you say that.
I tried to reason with him. I tried to tell him that they were an oil club. I tried to explain all the reasons why City sucks. The empty had, all the reasons, the very logical reasons why you shouldn't be a City fan. Sorry, City fans out there. But, and I don't truly believe this, but in the dream I was very angry to the point where I was so mad, irate, that I quit the Boys and Bolos. I ended the podcast, and I remember like saying to Jarrett in the dream, "Fuck you, just fuck you, I hate you," and I ended it, and then I remember I was so angry I blacked out. I blacked out in the dream. I blacked out, and I woke up with a high school friend, Tim Broderick, in France, and he was like, "Dude, you blacked out, and now you're in France." I'm like, "How did I get here?" And they're like, "You were so mad, you just like left." And that was the dream. That was it. I woke up.
What was Tim doing in France? Was he like sitting at a cafe reading like literature?
He was there for school or something, because I was in his dorm room with there was another bro there, but I don't know who the bro was. But
another bro?
There was another bro. Like, there was a dorm room.
So you broke up the podcast because I am an Etihad head.
Yeah.
And then you woke up in, you woke up in the freshman dorm doing bong rips?
I don't know. It was like the Tim Broderick that was in this dream, because there's been many iterations of Tim Broderick. I think right now the iteration, he had like the short like prep school Tim Broderick, and he had like a long hair phase, right? Tim had like a long hair phase.
That was his final Lamb of God phase that I knew.
But that was like the long hair phase was like post it was like college, right? He was in college.
Yeah.
And now he's probably back to short hair because he's teaching at the prep.
Exactly. Now he's Profe Broderick.
So like it was a short hair version of Timmy. So it was like probably a high school version of him. But yeah, I mean that's generally what it was. I mean, it wasn't like, besides like, I don't actually care what team people like in real life. Like, I don't actually get angry at people for liking teams.
But also, you don't have any Arsenal friends friends.
Oh, I would never be a friend with somebody who likes Arsenal. No, I actually don't care. Like, honestly, like, it doesn't affect my life. People like what they like. Like, that's fine.
I think you get less tribal as you get older. At least I do. I just don't care.
Like, people can like what they like. People like what they like, and that's it. But in the dream, very angry. very angrily, to the point where it's it. Over.
Wow.
It's over between us.
It's over.
It's over.
It's over. Ciao.
Ciao. Thanks for listening to the Boys and Bolos podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, Twitch at Boys and Bolos.
If you'd like to be a guest, please reach out. You can hit us on any of the social media accounts that Jeff just mentioned, or email us directly at boysandbolos@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening, and see you next time.